It's something that been on my mind, bro. And this I've heard this more times than I would have liked to hear this shit, that the Celtics would have beat the Nuggets.
Let's just take a moment to look at their potential matchups here. What do you think, Perk, are the pros and cons for the Nuggets of facing Boston?
Well, I'm going to say this. They want the Heat to win. I believe they will beat them in 5 games. They just don't have a matchup for Jokic. Bam is just not enough. And they're too long and athletic around the perimeter. But they do not want to see the Celtics.
Boston is the superior team in the Eastern Conference, even though Miami beat them. I believe Boston Celtics would have had a 6 or 7 game series against the Denver Nuggets. I firmly believe that. Matchups and styles make fights.
How you feel about that?
I guess styles make fights and all that, and matchups make fights. I mean, matchup makes games or whatever you want to say. But the Celtics will not have beat the Nuggets. The Celtics lacked focus, maturity. Their coach was, I don't want to say not that good. I mean, I gotta be honest, he wasn't that good. He just wasn't that good. He wasn't on the level of the coaches he was going up against. And in some of those series, the talent of the Boston Celtics prevailed. But it was going to take a lot more than the talent of the Boston Celtics to prevail over the team with good coaching and a disciplined team. They don't let their foot off the gas. All things that the Celtics don't have. Celtics undisciplined, let their foot off the gas. They play down to the level of their competition. Their key players are inconsistent, so they would not have beat the Nuggets. I don't see that. I don't know why Stephen A. and other people keep regurgitating that. I think that's false, bro. There's a lot of people I see saying that.
We had that talk kind of backstage, like, you know, in the chat, talking about how I said it was a chance they could have. I don't think they would have, because like I said, I called the Nuggets like somewhere in I think May or like early May. So, but it was still a chance. I feel like that was the best team, and again, you could never say never. You can you just can't know what's gonna happen. I still got the Nuggets winning, but at the same time, with the way MPJ performed and Jamal Murray, how he wasn't as good as he was in the last like two games of the series, and how bad the Heat were as a team besides Bam, I don't know if the Nuggets still play like that against the Celtics. I think the Celtics they can win. They can win,
and it's all about matchups too.
It is all about matchups.
Saying the Heat. But the Heat beat this team by doing certain things.
Yeah, but the Heat were
it's not because they were more talented.
The Heat were playing much better. Okay, let me say that. Caleb Martin was a scrub in the Nuggets series. Then compared to the better defensive team, he was this word. He was Eastern Conference Finals MVP to some people. So it's like I'm just trying to weigh it evenly. I'm trying to weigh it how I seen the Nuggets play. Now, like I said, this is all I'm saying. If the Nugget, which is the odds for that is low, honestly, but it's never. If the Nuggets played the same way they did against the Heat, against the Celtics, I think the Celtics have a chance of winning that. And I think that's what Stephen A. probably seen as well. Because they really played, aside from Jokic and Jamal Murray through his first couple games, they honestly played poor. Like I told you, MPJ...
You said who played poor?
Well,
I don't think Jokic had a bad game in the playoffs.
No, not Jokic. I didn't say Jokic. I said besides Jokic. I said I wouldn't say poor. Well, MPJ was poor, but Jamal Murray had a couple mid games. He had them 2-3 mid games, 2 mid games, and a couple other guys did too. Jokic kind of had to put on the backpack for a little bit, and that's what it was. Honestly, that's the only way I'm thinking. But again, matchups is different, like you said, which I respect. Because
but let's also say this too. The Nuggets, when they went up against teams they were supposed to beat handily, they did that.
Yeah.
And exceeded those expectations. The Celtics don't.
Compared to the Celtics,
they did not do that in this playoff.
Which was a good point you mentioned backstage as well. You said, when I said I thought the Celtics were actually better against the good teams, but it's like when you count on the Celtics, this is what it is with the Celtics. When you count on them the most, they won't get it done. When you're not worrying about the Celtics, they win in 60 games. They win in games by 40. They win in games by 50. But when it really matters with the Celtics, they struggle.
And if they did make it to the finals, teams were gonna favor them because they were favored to get to the finals. It was a lot of people saying, as cool to myself before the season started, I said if the Nuggets and the Celtics get there, I would pick the Celtics.
which I think the majority of people voted. I
Right.
mean, it's
So
look at
by
the
that
roster.
metric, you're saying if they were expected to win, they wouldn't have showed up.
I'm not saying you bringing up good points. I'm not saying at all it's wrong. I'm just saying the only way that I can see, which like it's hard that I could have seen the Celtics winning is if they played the Nuggets played the same way they did against the Heat, but different matchups, different. It's a whole lot of different things going to fact. If I'm gonna say if they do this, it's a lot of ifs. But we know what happened. We seen what happened. We seen Jokic dominate. We seen the Nuggets play good basketball for as long as they did. So the Nuggets won, and that we can't take nothing away from that. You guys need to stop just trying to say, oh, if this was just stop it.
Look,
the Nuggets won.
I get that the Celtics are we saying because of what they got on paper that they're a matchup issue for the Nuggets, but what about the Nuggets though? They're a major matchup issue for them because Robert Williams is doing nothing with Nikola Jokic. Literally nothing. And that pick and roll was giving teams hell, but that pick and roll between Jamal Murray and Jokic was giving teams hell, bro. The mental lapses that the Celtics have on defense, especially throughout this last playoffs, I just don't see them being consistent defensively against this team.
It's discombobulated, bro. It's like they freeze in certain situations. They just don't know what to do. That's something I did notice. It is not
because
just
of and because of the coaching as well. Not just on them, because of the coaching as well. Which Joe Mazzulla got severely outcoached by
Malone.
Eric Spoelstra.
Oh, Eric Spoelstra, you're talking about.
And he was good. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Mike Malone, who outcoached Michael Malone, who outcoached Eric Spoelstra. It wasn't just that the Nuggets were more talented and just as hungry as the Heat. Michael Malone in this series, he had Eric Spoelstra not knowing what to do when the zone was not working. I just don't see how the Nuggets would have lost to that Celtics team who had so much issues going on that we seen just fall flat on his face throughout the entire playoffs. They lost to they let a AC go up 3-0 on them.
Yeah, it's like
with no excuses, no injuries, nothing.
And that falls into the fact where it's like, you can say they got a super team right now, right? We can say this and that. They're the favorites. They have a 35% chance of winning the championship compared to the Nuggets. It's either 35 or 25. I don't know which one. Compared to the Nuggets 14, who just won the championship, we've seen Jokic dominate, right? Yeah, we can say the super team and this and that, but we've seen what's happened. We can't ignore what happened. We can't ignore the past or the present. We've seen what happened. We see what's happening with the Celtics. It's like we just can't be fully sold no more. Last year, I get why Eli was sold. He was happy to be sold, and I get it. I genuinely respected it because they made it to the finals. And they had two close series. One was with with Giannis, who was, who most people call him the best player in the world, who I was also arguing as the best player in the world at the time. And then they go this year. This was honestly terrible. 6 with the Hawks, 7 with Philly. That 50-point game was cool. We was clapping it, we was congratulating JT, but it shouldn't have gone there. And then 7 with the Heat going up 3-0. How do you be Eli? How can you even root for this team anymore at this point? It's one thing if they lost in the finals, Eli. We know how it is. People lose in the finals. It's one thing to lose in the finals compared to any other round, especially when you lose to. If they would have lost to the first seed in the West, 2 years in a row you guys lost, but that's back-to-back final trips. When was the last time? The last time a team went to back-to-back finals was 2017-18 or 2018-19. So the Celtics would have been one of the first teams to do that since then. It's one thing that had lost to the finals to the first seed, but they lost to the 8th seed. So how can you guys stay devoted to them winning this championship?
If they don't get back to the finals this year with this team as constructed,
done.
We can't keep saying, oh, Jason Tatum's young, Jaylen Brown's young, they got time.
No more.
They're not in their problem. We can't do that, man. We can't do that. They got more than enough to get to the finals, bro.